And you can hear him. Buonanotte. Bonsoir.
Okay, we're on.
Good evening. Welcome to the Tibet Center in South Orange, New Jersey. So this is our last class for year 2024. Our next class will be Monday, the 6th of January in Manhattan at 151 West 30th Street. So, we will begin this evening by reciting a prayer for the spreading of the teaching throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the
Force of the blessings of the non-fallacious, free, precious gems, and of the truth of our pure, selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living there, together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness. May they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished.
Now, the Heart Sutra. Thus
As have I heard once,
the
Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the samadhi which examines the Dharma's whole profound illumination. And at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, how should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge? And Avalokiteshvara answered, Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form. Form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are neither impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the Bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge. And since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering, should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed. Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisattva. O Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One.
Now we generate bodhicitta. With the
wish to free all beings,
I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha,
Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world.
Okay. So let's recite Rosary of Padme Hum, thinking of its meaning and thinking of compassion. Come. You can come in now. Sit down.
Yes, we can sit on the floor. Yeah.
Okay. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum.
Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum.
Om Mani
Om Mani
Padme
Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum.
Hum. Om Mani Padme
Ready?
Om Mani Padme Hum. discussing Beyond Religion, Ethics for a Whole World by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And we have most recently been discussing the chapter on the futility of war, or the subchapter, which begins on page 86. We've been discussing our personal responsibility to contribute to countering anger, impatience, intolerance, and the importance of cultivating patience as a countermeasure to those emotions. And though, of course, if there are actual things that we can do towards cultivating peace in the world and diminishing war, we should do them. But most importantly, as we've been discussing, is that we cultivate the countermeasures to anger, impatience, which is patience. Cultivating an awareness of the benefits or the harm, the negative aspects of not having patience, not cultivating it, and the benefits of patience. And if we, as I've said a few times, this is not something that we can expect to simply have out of having recognized that patience is better than anger. We have to actually work at cultivating it within ourselves. Work at coming to a point where we actually feel it, and when confronted by some kind of provocation, we are able to naturally be patient, accepting. And as we were discussing last week, in order to really have patience and forgiveness, we have to assume responsibility for the problems that we are confronting, that we are experiencing. We, and this is where we were discussing past lives, karma, the acceptance of the laws of cause and effect, the laws of karma. Karma means action. And when we talk about karma, we are talking about our actions, and particularly our mental actions, the motivations that accompany our physical and verbal actions. And the quality of the mental action determines the quality of the physical or verbal action. So what we have to do is, in order to develop that control over ourselves, is recognize that if we accept the laws of karma, we are accepting that we have engaged in actions, we have engaged in sort of negatively motivated actions over infinite past lives that have caused us to now merit the difficulties, the challenges that we face. If we don't accept that, I don't quite see how we can develop things like forgiveness or responsibility for the difficulties that we're encountering, we're experiencing.
It's proactive on our part.
What is proactive?
developing this patience. It's not something you just hear and you determine to do it, I would think.
Yes, and what I'm suggesting is the determination to do it becomes empowered by an acceptance that we are responsible for the problem, that we are working to
I see.
develop
I
patience.
see.
And the benefits of patience and not having the faults of not having. So there's a
So
lot.
if the problems we confront, the challenges we confront, the provocations that we come across, if we actually accept that they are due to our own past actions, not only will that help us develop the muscle that refrains from engaging. And you have a whole electronic thing going on over here.
Yeah, that gives you the.
What was
It buzzed and.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Wait a minute, this is on silent.
I'm not
What you
I'm
have
not
for lunch?
angry. I accept that the bother, or what they call botheration in India, that I'm
They use that here,
experiencing
yeah.
is
Botheration.
due to something that I must have done in the past. So I'm cool with it.
That removes a big block. When you realize you caused this situation, should remove the reticence to conquer it. You know, why is this happening and all that, yeah.
The
Botheration.
whole idea that we are victims, I think
Doesn't get you anywhere.
no, but I think we have to
common.
acknowledge that it is
Yeah.
not just common; it is instinctual. And in order to counter that instinctual behavior, we have to actually cultivate in meditation, in analytical meditation, we have to cultivate the countermeasure to that
Yeah.
instinct.
There are headwinds we have to do, push through. And one of the things is to realize this is your own stuff coming back. Hard to realize that, but we have to. The ego stands in the way there.
So as I say, I think that one of the difficult things, especially in this culture, is to accept responsibility, is to accept the laws of karma, because they necessitate an acceptance of past lives.
Yes.
The sort of karmic mechanism cannot be limited to one life in order for this to work. And so we are having to accept the fact that we have engaged in such behavior in past lives that cause that is now causing us to be confronted. So I find it, I don't know, here we are talking about secular ethics, but I'll permit myself in this Buddhist setting to say that one of the, I think, rather extraordinary aspects of Buddhism is that everything rests on our shoulders.
Yeah.
We are responsible for the situation we found ourselves in today, and we have the ability to determine the future. It's all in our hands.
That second part is very important.
They're both important.
Yeah. But first you can come to terms with it. We're on our own.
Sorry?
It seems to be on our own, but we have help.
No, but
We have
the
instruction.
thing about, we seem to be on our own, you say, but it's also really empowering that we have the ability to determine our future. We can change the direction that we're going in.
Due to the information we've been given, I mean, on our own, we discovered it's.
So,
Thank you.
you know, this is a debate that's carried out in the debating court. Whether there is free will or whether
Oh, that's, yeah.
whether everything is predetermined
Right.
and
That's a big debate
or
in
whether we
Christianity.
actually have
Free will.
free will and,
That's
and
a big
therefore
one.
the ability to and I think it's important for us to determine that we do have free will, that we are responsible for our actions, that we must work towards developing virtuous tendencies and work towards diminishing selfish, non-virtuous tendencies. And no matter what that debate may conjure up in the ways of pros and cons, in the way we lead our lives, we must put effort into working to diminish our self-cherishing behavior and work towards enhancing our selfless concern for others. That's important. We can't just say we leave that to fate.
Why not? That's a lot easier, isn't it? For a moment, makes it harder.
It's always seemed to me how much easier our spiritual development or progress would be if we could remember our past lives, you know, because we have to take it on faith that what's happening now is based on our good or bad karma from past lives, because we just can't remember it. And then not understanding karma also, it makes that method for me very difficult.
When you say not understanding karma, what do you mean?
Oh, I guess the intricacies of it. I mean, I can know that generally if I killed someone out of anger, that's going to come back at me. But a lot of the little things that happen to you that aren't probably an exact correlation with something that happened in the past. We don't know how the tokens work. I guess I don't know exactly how to say it, but the monetary exchange of karma, exactly how it works.
I mean, the mechanics of it,
Yeah.
what weighs more.
And how
There are
something.
instructions on the karma chapter, the Lamrim, karma section.
Which Lamrim text?
The weight of karma, that's what
The weight of
what
God.
makes it weighty. I don't know if second or third or first volume. Maybe the first volume.
Of His Holiness's
No, of the standard Lamrim.
standard Lamrim.
So
Okay.
Right. Remember him?
I've heard of it.
Nice guy.
So yes, it would be, but I think that the ability to actually see past lives, to actually see this, might come as a result of developing a certain belief in it. You know, they talk about 3 levels of phenomena. You have evident phenomena, the things like, you know, this cup in front of me, I can see it directly, I can establish its existence by my eye consciousness. There are hidden phenomena, things that we cannot actually see directly. We need to use reasoning to establish their truth. The subtle impermanence of the cup is something that we cannot see. It's something that if we understand that everything that is produced is impermanent, and since the cup is produced, it is impermanent. And if we have established that the cup is produced, and we have established that all products are necessarily impermanent, once we've established that the cup is a product, is produced, we can develop an inference that establishes the impermanence of the cup. The same for the emptiness of the cup. If we can, it is by means of inference that we can establish the emptiness of self or whatever phenomenon. Then there are the very hidden phenomena, and karma is within that category. It cannot be established by reasoning. It's something that we have to go. We have to have faith in the teacher who properly taught those things that we can establish by means of reasoning, who taught the reasoning that establishes the impermanence of the cup, the emptiness of the cup, and we thereby establish the validity of his teachings on karma. That's the sort of general. However, as I was saying, I think that if we, as a result of one of the ways in which we can familiarize ourselves with a new concept is to accept it. We're not believing in it fully, but we're testing it over time. So we assume, we take on a belief in karma and test it out over time. There was some Scandinavian inventor, the man who invented the Saab car and plane. I don't remember his name, but he could take his drawing, his design of a car, and keep it in his mind, and then after 2 months he could go back to it and see where the aerodynamic aspects of his design were not so good, and then he could change this. And
All in a mental image that he held.
yeah,
Carefully.
it just sat there on some level
And the
of
mind
consciousness.
worked on it somehow.
Yeah, and so we can do the same with the laws of karma. We can simply, let's say, put them into our thinking system like a filter, and then lead our lives for a year or two and see whether things stack up, whether there's a validity in this. And we can do that with a number of the things that we
Wow. That's a big thing to develop. That innate.
Rinpoche used to say to us, just imitate, do by
Yeah, always said
imitation.
imitation,
Right.
yes.
And I mean, we can, things like having compassion or bodhicitta, we would do it just by imitation at first,
Yeah.
holding it, sort of pretending that we had it as a
We did
way
say
of
that.
cultivating it and
Yes.
eventually actually having it.
Yes.
So something like the laws of karma, we should study them. We should become familiar with the mechanics, and then just let it sit and see how it works with within our day-to-day life over a period of a few months, so that could be a technique. It's not that we're seeing our past lives. It's not that we're
No.
actually seeing the root of, but you know, in order to establish the laws of karma, it would not suffice to simply see our past life. We would have to see infinite past lives, because all of these tendencies come from way back, causing habits, causing proclivities. So it can't be just short. It has to. And you know, when we talk about karma, and we talk about the influence of our past actions on our present situation, it's not just our mental tendencies we're talking about, it's our environment. I mean, the fact that we
It's
are sitting
created by-
in this very comfortable home and with the heat that we are able to turn on, and every aspect of what we are experiencing right now, including Tony's radioactivity,
Right.
it all comes from the past. So our environment, our instinctual, our behavior, our what would you call it? The resources that we have at our disposal, the fortune that we have, our state of health, all of these things, including our mental state, the sort of natural way that we behave as we go through life. All of those things come from the past. Our family, the people we interact with,
It's connected.
yeah, these are all the results of my past actions. I am fully responsible for all
And
those.
the mental activity that produced those past actions. Guilty as charged, Your Honor.
Concerning a Buddhist practice, is it our responsibility to learn about our past life?
No, it's our responsibility to accept, to work towards recognizing and
Yes.
accepting that our present situation
Yes.
is due to our
There are
past
outcomes.
actions.
Yeah.
Ongoing,
Okay.
always.
And all of this whole process, just reading about this, and as Tony said, it's all contained within the Lamrim, Tsongkhapa
everything's
Lamrim. The more we understand all the aspects of the mechanism of karma, the more we assume a certain responsibility for how we behave. It actually infuses in us ownership or responsibility
Right, yes.
for how we behave. And it's not that we see the past life, but we actually feel empowered to act in a way that determines the future. Because without accepting that our present situation is due to our past actions, how can we accept that our present actions determine the future? So, I think that, thinking about these things, discussing these things as we're
It's very
doing,
healthy.
is really
Wonderful.
important. It's specifically we were talking about patience, but all of the virtue that we're trying to cultivate, and all the opposites, the non-virtue of anger, or the non-virtue of miserliness, or the non-virtue of impure ethics, the way we behave towards others. All of those, our ability to really work at those things really is enhanced by an understanding of cause and effect. Yes?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes, yes.
Yes. Agreed.
You take your time with these ideas, they do give you immediate benefit, not at depth, but at deeper and deeper, the more you hang out with them,
No, it settles in.
settles in.
Yeah.
And there's nothing, I remember when I was initially interested in spiritual matters, I sort of thought that there was something magical about spiritual matters. And I think that there's something quite wonderful about the very practical, pragmatic quality of assuming spiritual responsibility. and that is to just simply work at diminishing our negative, selfish, self-centered, self-cherishing actions and work in developing a concern for others. That simple line
Concern for others.
is and the fact that if we really work towards moving ourselves from one to the other, that determines the quality of our lives and the quality of the world around us, or that is the greatest influence that we can have. I must say, I've been listening to different and reading about different articles about President Carter, and he's wonderfully inspiring in the degree to which he led his life according to this. And his motivation was not a belief in karma. His motivation was a belief in God and in Jesus Christ. And I think that we as Buddhists have to really remember that this Christian path, and I think it's the same for a Muslim path and a Jewish path and a Hindu path, and that the Hindus are influenced by past lives and karma, but the belief that God created us in His image, and that one is working towards emulating God's way, actually leads to very beautiful and wonderful behavior. I mean, he's really inspiring.
Oh, he positive, did a lot of good. The habitat is his idea. Yeah,
I think that was a great project. I mean,
yeah, all over the world, people
which
have
other
those.
president would do it, you know, except him.
Not the Donald. He builds houses too.
You have a couple of mil.
Just
So, yes, so the fact that we're discussing this evening, having, I think many people, crowds out there, have been listening to and seeing and
a lot of them are
reading about
recording. I could see the lights.
so we will remember Jimmy Carter in our prayers tonight. So, the next thing that, does anyone have anything more to say on war and patience and the futility of war?
That should be obvious by now,
Buddy?
with all the reporting and everything.
Buddy might have something to say.
Buddy, what do you
But
have?
he's manifesting patience with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but it's deeply self-cherishing. So this whole recognition, this whole process that we've been discussing, the mechanics of karma and our ability to actually recognize these things and thereby have them influence, motivate our behavior, our mental, verbal, physical behavior. This process of working on ourselves in this way is not accessible to Buddy. However, since I live with this,
He's an item.
the degree to which we cultivate it will influence those around us, including animals, I believe. This may be a little bit of...
The degree to which we cultivate Patience?
whatever the quality, if we work on ourselves,
Yeah.
and if we the work that if we accept if we acknowledge that we have very little ability to change others
Right.
or to change the world, that the only thing that we can really work at changing is ourselves.
Right.
And if we accept or if we believe that by changing ourselves, that is the greatest contribution we can make to others and to the world, then we have to accept that the work that we do on ourselves does have some kind of a ripple effect and might even benefit the animals around.
I think they can sense that who has somebody is trying to have patience with them. Or like the fact that I don't let him out at night. He knows that I'm not being mean. Because
And the cats you have.
I let him out in the daytime when I'm here. And so he's having patience with me. In that way, he accepts it. He doesn't think I'm evil.
So we move on to the environment.
Yes. We seem to be at war with the environment.
For several decades, I've emphasized the importance of environmental awareness to our future well-being. It is most encouraging that in recent years, such awareness has been increasing, especially among the young, and that politicians are now having to take these issues seriously. Again, Carter was putting solar panels on the White House back in the 70s.
Yeah.
He
was an engineer, we forget. He was a nuclear engineer.
accepted responsibility and accept or considered that it was imperative
Yeah.
that we act and that we act immediately. And he assumed that responsibility by actually putting solar panels onto the roof of the White House. It's extraordinary. It's admirable. In the past, when industrialization began in Europe and gradually spread to other parts of the globe, the complex interrelationships of the natural world were poorly understood. In the name of progress, animals were hunted to extinction, forests were cut down, and waterways were polluted by factories and industrial plants. But as science has advanced and our understanding of the delicate balance of the natural world has grown, the excuse of ignorance is no longer available. So I think that the excuse of ignorance is no longer available is something that we have to, I was coming down here and the light on my desk was on, and part of me thought, let it remain on. And then I thought, the excuse of ignorance is no longer available. And I think I mentioned one of His Holiness's statements is that though it's an infinitesimal contribution, he turns the light off when he leaves.
Yeah, he
Runs.
mentions that.
And it's something that we should all do. I mean, we have to, we can't be sloppy. We have to try to contribute in some way. And I don't think it's something that we can impose on others. It's a tricky thing, because if you start imposing these things on others, they get angry, and then the problem gets worse.
You could lead by example, maybe they'll pick it up. That's the only-
Exactly, that's all we can do.
So you went upstairs and shut the light, and came back.
Today, we must face the reality that our excessively materialistic lifestyles are wasteful and come at considerable environmental cost. It is only natural for people in the developing world to aspire to the same level of comfort enjoyed by those in the developed world. But with global population rising rapidly, it is clear that if we do not change the patterns of consumption we consider advanced, humanity's thirst for natural resources will be unsustainable. Well, what do you have to say about
It's
that?
happening already. And the amount of junk we create is unsustainable. There's no place to put it. I agree with the statement. Now, how to correct this situation. The
mountains of garbage I saw the first time I went to India, in Delhi, was so shocking. I've never seen a mountain like that. An actual mountain made out of garbage on my way into Delhi for the first time.
But you know, in order for things to be considered garbage in India, it has gone through so many filters. We throw things out here and goodness knows what happens to them. In India, you have the people who pick up the little bits of metal, the people who pick up the little bits of glass, and they go around on their bicycles shouting out, any glass, or metal, whatever it is.
Yes, but that even makes it more shocking, because if it went through all that filter and still there's a huge mountain of garbage. Imagine if there were no filters of going through.
Yes, someone said in India it's a whole business
But the thing
cleaning
is-
old cans and selling them back to people.
The thing is, the only way to do is to consume less. We don't need to consume so much. We
Okay.
consume so much in the West.
That's correct.
Why do we need to have 3 or 4 dozens of pieces of clothing? Some have more than that. Some have I don't know how many dozens of pieces of
No,
clothing.
yeah, no.
there is.
It's not
Some people have to have whatever, that's the new spring fashion, the new autumn fashion, the new winter fashion. They all have to have a piece of it.
Look at the ads
Why?
for closet space, closet designs that they sell. It's
No,
like
I
a room
actually
now
know
to go
people-
into, not a closet
Actually,
anymore.
I won't name. I actually know people who says to me, calls me and say, come take some clothes from me. They're brand new, haven't even worn it, but I need closet space to put in new things. And I was like, oh my goodness, I actually know clothes horses.
Yes, but I think that we can view these things, but the important thing for us to do is to apply it ourselves.
Exactly.
And that's tougher. It's very easy to see the problem.
Well, actually, I enjoy not spending money on clothes. I buy a certain amount of clothes and that's it for a while.
And then you spend it on
I'm gonna wear it
canvas.
until it falls down. It falls off or something.
Then you buy canvas.
Oh, canvas.
That's your,
That's my,
but you
that's my
repurpose
weakness,
them.
canvas and paint.
So here we're talking about the environment, and we all have little ways in which we contribute to pollution, we contribute to waste, we contribute, and all we have to, what we can do is simply work at developing a recognition and working at holding ourselves back from engaging in those things. Leaving the water on when you're brushing your teeth.
Oh, yeah.
The length of your shower.
Sure.
All those kinds of things.
Yes.
Those are, and I'm not telling you what to do.
No.
These are the things that I I always feel a little guilty when I leave the water on to get it to the point where it's hot.
You have to.
But
That's
it's
the
hard
problem,
not to.
you know.
But you know, in the countries where no one has hot water,
You gotta make it.
from our point of view, leaving the faucet on until it gets hot is a luxury.
They don't have the water itself in those places.
So
Maybe, I don't know. People can be convinced that the acquisition of things isn't gonna make them happier. That's what this is all about, but that's a hard sell down. We have to sell ourselves, as you know.
yes, the acquisition of things is not going to make me happier. I'm
Watch.
still waiting for the perfect camera. That
I know that's not gonna
Yeah.
happen. Nikki.
Oh, yes, you'll find it. Just keep
No.
looking.
The mental camera,
Keep looking.
where you could hold the image and then
The perfect-
years later come back to it and adjust the lighting and like Mr. Saab or whatever. I think he was Mr. Saab.
No, he
He wasn't.
So yeah, the perfect camera will come about
Yes.
as
in
a
another
result
world.
of being content with the camera you have.
That's it.
Don't you just have to keep looking?
No, you have to just recognize,
That what you have is perfect.
yeah, it works perfectly. and yeah,
The best
Uh,
wine.
Great if
the
it
kind
works for
like.
you.
this is the secret to happiness, is to be
Mhm.
content with what you have.
Yes, yes, agreed. That's true.
So today we must face the reality that our excessively materialistic lifestyles are wasteful and come at a considerable environmental
Amen.
It is only natural, the second part, it is only natural for people in the developing world to aspire to the same level of comfort enjoyed by those in the developed world. So, we in the developed world, I don't know to what degree we acknowledge the developing world's right to the same things. I think that baked into our stratification of the world order is a feeling that there is that some countries have certain not rights, but
License, maybe?
and some don't. And that's something where we can work on ourselves to really acknowledge that everyone has that right. That if I must, though I can actually provide with third world countries, provide third world countries with the resources that they aspire to enjoy, I can recognize that I can work at developing a recognition of their equal right to those things. And that little change in my attitude, again, is the only effect that we can have on the world.
That's the caste system. They shouldn't have that within. Also takes away the feeling, look what this guy has. How should they have that? Well, look at this. He shouldn't have a nice car like that. People think that way. Think products are sold on that basis. You are different because you bought this. You bought the-
Samsara of Guerlain.
Gala.
You know the perfume Guerlain, the fashion
Guerlain,
house
yeah.
Guerlain made a perfume called Samsara. And
Right, you said Rinpoche, if they knew what it meant, they wouldn't get so excited.
But with the global population rising rapidly, it is clear that if we do not change the patterns of consumption we consider advanced, humanity's thirst for natural resources will be unsustainable. So that this isn't just a question of our working on our moral priorities. It's a question of the survival of our society, of our people, of
Yes.
life on this planet. Already we are seeing the results. Overexploitation and the corresponding degradation of the natural environment are generating environmental crises at local and global levels. It is very important, therefore, that the nations which are pursuing such rapid economic growth do not blindly follow the models of development they see in more affluent countries. Instead, countries such as China, India, and Brazil should take the lead in funding new, more sustainable avenues of development. In this regard, I consider the economic model of microfinance, which can be flexible and sensitive to local and environmental issues, to be very forward-thinking. So, would someone like to explain microfinance and how it works?
It was a big,
He won the Nobel,
yes, small,
and he's now the president of Bangladesh,
Uh-huh, yeah,
the acting president.
acting president.
So what was his thing?
lending small
I
amounts of
think he
money.
was lending small amounts of money, especially to women, so that they can become entrepreneurs and make their own whatever little thing that they can do with their skill set, and then become economically independent.
Mhm.
It was because otherwise no banks are going to give them any kind of money, let alone any kind of money.
So
and
how
and
does
a lot
that-
of them bring themselves out of poverty and have made themselves a good livelihood.
A lot of solar work is done on that
I
level.
think that's why he got the Nobel Prize.
So, but how does that relate to more sustainable avenues of development?
For instance, the kids used to not be able to study at night because the parents couldn't afford electricity. Now with the solar thing, it's enough so the kid could study at night, run a computer at night. In Africa, they showed this system where a couple of women got together and this, and now it shows an improvement in the children's ability to learn. Big improvement. And more light, that's the big thing, for free. You're not paying a utility. It's not talked about a lot. When it first started, it was good. There was a lot of articles on it, even in the big splashy, glossy magazines. You don't hear much about it now. Strange, because it's a success. That's why.
Also,
And we want to hold the cards.
I've been seeing on the internet that especially India has a huge problem of youth unemployment. These young people in their 20s are very well educated. They have some college degrees and everything, but they can't find work. They have it's something like 40% or 42% are out of work and they can't find work. So what they've discovered is that some of them, a percentage of them, are now doing, becoming entrepreneurs, making
Micro-entrepreneurs.
Yeah, exactly, like that, almost like the micro ecosystem, micro loans or whatever. And they are now going out and finding their own jobs instead of waiting for some old big huge corporation to give them work. So now they are in the informal section, but they are actually employed. They are self-employed. They become self-employed. And they might have a master's in AI or whatever, but they're not waiting around for it.
Yeah.
And so they, on the corner, they will be like flipping, I don't know, samosas or something.
Chapatis or something.
And they're doing it because they may be in their 20s, but nobody's giving them a job, so they're not going to starve, they're not going to become criminals. So they went out and do their own thing. So I thought that was very
It's empowering.
brave. It is empowering and brave.
It's always
because you're not
very
waiting for a
empowering.
big, huge corporation to. There's only so much that corporation and
Yeah,
they
no,
come
unless
up
there's a
with-
big profit, they're not gonna do
with-
anything
with
for you.
so much amount of jobs.
They're not great humanitarians, these corporations.
So, I think that this is the place to end this evening and this year. And so, we will begin by reciting the Sutra of the Recollection of the Noble Three Jewels. We can think of President Carter, and
Jimmy Carter,
mhm,
Olivia Hussey,
Oh, really?
Linda Lavin,
Wow.
and the Korean Air victims.
Oh, Korean and.
Jane sent something also,
Oh,
Yes.
Sorry.
the Lord of Death.
There are actually
Can't
five
find my phone,
crashes.
what the hell I did.
5 planes crashed the last month or something.
Well, we know two of them offhand.
Mhm.
Three, the Russian, the
Especially the
Korean.
Korean airplane, there's like 181 people there.
Right.
Only 2 people survived.
Right,
I can't find James' thing.
okay. I prostrate
to the omniscient one. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavat, Tathagata, Arahat, Samyak Buddha, the learned and virtuous one,
the
Sudatta,
the
the
knower
knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit.
He
He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the base of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strength cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He is not stained by the realm of desire. He is not stained by the realm of form. He is not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His eyes are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The Holy Dharma stood at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma taught by the Bhagavat is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy, it is trustworthy, and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Jnana, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. Protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable, may they be born in a completely pure realm.
So let us read the 8 verses.
In training the mind.
With the
Determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings, who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings, as if I had found a precious treasure difficult to find. When others out of jealousy treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I have benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as light illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment.
Now let us read the prayer for the swift return from Rinpoche.
Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop. Sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes. Guru Luzang Tubuang Dorje Chang. Please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast waves of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of the Victor Lozan's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guests in unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till cyclic existence's end, to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by Bodhicitta drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of sages' teachings, and wish-fulfilling jewel. Return as the glory of Lozang Tenpei, magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Kormayama, and Srimata Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors. May you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moonlight face. Oh, that's excellent. Thank you very much, Nikki.